African code switch that's really awesome, and I don't think people catch it. And you turn it on in specific ways as it makes sense and as it's appropriate. So like, you know, we talked yesterday about how the first couple flashes that I got, like, oh no, Stu is African for real. This is not a game. Where like we be in cabs, or we be outside the club, and the bouncer would be an African guy, and like I'm like, did Stu just use another language that I didn't know he spoke? I think he said the term ongawa. I don't know what.
We've ridden in a lot of Ubers over the years, and you know, I mean, that's just a very popular occupation. When you come to the States, you might have a green card, you might your education status might be in flux, and you're trying to build a better life for your family and your legacy and all of that. And so, with Uber, it makes it a whole lot easier. Like, they don't have to go get a medallion now. It's like, you got a car, you can drive. So,
you know, there are a lot of people who listen to us that don't even know what a medallion is because they didn't grow up with taxis.
That's right. In New York City, in order to be able to, and this was a big point of controversy when Uber was trying to gain market share in the New York area, is all of the taxis and limousines and I think commercial vehicles are governed by the TLNC in New York, and you have to have a medallion, which is like a permit that allows for you to work and kind of do your business in New York. So it's part of their transportation department. And so it's very hard to get, and it's extremely expensive, and creates a very high barrier of entry for immigrants in this country, quite frankly, to gain, stable wages. So yes, so Uber kind of broke that down, and now it's democratized. And now if you have a car, you don't even need have a car. Actually, Uber will buy the car. But yeah, that's a common profession in the New York City area, along with nursing. Always, my mom was a nurse, my aunt was a nurse. So, and my dad drove a taxi cab. So I really empathize with our Uber drivers whenever we're in it. I just I surprise them because I'll order the Uber. It says Stewart, and then I'm saying Wuhutuden, which is like, how you doing? How is your being? To which they would say Bakal, which is like cool or chill, or I'm straight.
Hold on a second, man. So one, clapping it up to you, giving us a full understanding of this
language moment.
Not even a language moment. I mean, you just gave us a very full overview of the Taxi and Licensing Commission in New York and the barriers to entry of the industry, which I was not expecting us to do whatsoever. But beyond that,
I'm an oversharer, man.
I think the Stu is African, and tying it back to the title, I want to make sure that we clarify for folks. So you are African. Your parents, though, are from the country of Ghana.
Yes.
And when you're talking about how you're speaking to the Uber drivers or any service provider, nurses, whatever that looks like, you're speaking in a language from their native tongue. Whereas some people, like, I don't want it to be
from this the was one of the people. It's called
right, because there is a common misconception. I'm going to say it's common though, but it's like every African person doesn't speak the same language, right? Just because
there are too many other
but
languages.
The way that you told that story was like, every time I get in an Uber, that guy's just gonna know my language, because that's what hit me the first time we were outside the club. I'm like, how'd you know what language to speak to this guy? Like, all right, Dakota ring over here. But
there are certain names. They're just like everywhere. Like you can, I mean, as you get older, you can kind of tell where certain names are from in the Latinx heritage, the difference between Korean and Chinese and Japanese. You can tell by the naming convention of the surnames and how they're set up. And so for us, it's the same thing. If I see a Mensa or a Boateng or a Wachi, I know that they're my people. Besides the fact that we have very similar facial features.
I was just say there's a visual inspection element of it as well. Because outside of a nightclub at 2 a.m. in New York, you do not see a name tag on the bouncer. So you looked at his nose or something in the face. It was like, all right, I'm looking at your physiognomy.
Yeah, sometimes there's a scar. Sometimes there's an immunization if they have